The new water contract is still being finalized by the Department of Justice. Secretary Menardo Guevara said there are some economic and financial aspects that need expert recommendations from the Finance Department. PTV's Kenneth Paciente reports that the revised contract aims to protect the consumers and not the profit-seeking capitalists.
The Department of Justice is under the process of drafting provisions of water concessionaire contracts in the country. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara says they are continuing to cooperate with different agencies of the government for their inputs on what changes should be done in the contracts of water concessionaires. Legally speaking, the Department of Justice knows what changes to be made. But according to Guevara, it hasn't been finalized because they still require recommendations from different government agencies, particularly from the Department of Finance, so they can consider the economic aspect of the country after the contract is revised.
For example, in the water rate setting mechanism, ano mga factors ang dapat na i-consider dyan? The inflation rate, the exchange rate, what expenditures can be validly included, what cannot be, taxes, and so forth and so on.
Meanwhile, the Secretary emphasized that the action to revise the said contracts does not aim to threaten or seek to prejudice investors. Instead, this is necessary action taken by the current administration to protect the consumers.
We are making it a clean agreement. We're removing provisions that we perceive to be unlawful or contrary to law.
The Secretary also made sure that the contract of the water concessionaires prohibits the inclusion of corporate income tax to be charged on the consumers or subscribers.
Definitely, as a public utility, you cannot pass on that corporate income tax to the consumer. You have to bear it on your own.
The DOJ had a meeting with the DOF earlier this afternoon in Malacanang to tackle the provisions of the draft contract. And by the time all the revisions of the contract are finalized, they will immediately sit and discuss it with Maynilad and Manila Water. Even though the Secretary appreciates the act of these water concessionaires in aiding to provide potable water to the victims of the Taal volcano eruption, it will not affect or factor in the department's findings and recommendations after reviewing their contracts. Kenneth Paciente for The Nation.